Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Bonnie Abramson. I am the coordinator for the United Square Dancers of America's webinar series, and we are pleased to have Mr. Thom Dang. He's doing a presentation today on using Facebook events to promote square dances. We all know how badly we need to promote our events and get the words out. So I think Thom's going to do a great presentation for you. I've known Thom for several years. He's very active in the International Association of Gay and Lesbian Square Dance Clubs. And he also is very supportive and very active in promoting a local event called Beach Bash in Central California, kind of in my home turf where I grew up. So it's a really wonderful event. He's going to talk to you about that. We are going to ask everybody to remain muted. Thom will take questions during the presentation. And if you have questions before he's ready for them, please post them in the chat and we'll make sure that your questions get addressed during that time. I want to thank you all for joining us. And I am ready to just get this right on started. Mr. Thom Dang has been a longtime square dancer. He is from Arroyo Grande, correct, Thom?
Arroyo Grande, yep.
I know when I sent the promotion out, I said San Diego, and that was my oops. I forgot to update one other feature, but Thom is very active in, he works in technology, so he has a whole lot more expertise about a lot of this than I do. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Thom Dang.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, everybody, for joining. So again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We do have multiple time zones and multiple countries on here now as well. So thank you for joining us. Again, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just a couple PowerPoint slides. And today's presentation is on using Facebook events to promote square dancing. Again, my name is Thom Dang. So just a little bit about myself. I have been square dancing since 2002. I work in IT. I set up and manage a number of square dance Facebook groups and Google groups. My partner, he's a caller, Darren Galena, he's on. And I help to manage his Facebook page and YouTube channel. And if you want to see some examples of some of our posts, events, and videos, you can check them out. Here are the links. We also ran Zoom virtual dances during the pandemic, and I helped train a number of callers on how to set up their equipment for that. And as Bonnie mentioned, I am a co-organizer with Darren on Beach Bash 805, which is our square dance festival. So just to let you know, I've been dancing and I work in tech, so that's kind of where my qualifications are. And if you want to hit me up on Facebook afterwards, here's my Facebook profile down at the bottom, thom.c.dang. And we'll be sending out this presentation, so you don't have to worry about taking notes on that. All right, so why Facebook? You know, Facebook has a large number of users on it, and this is where I started. I don't have an Instagram account, but it is owned by Facebook, so you could post to both if you want. But I found that, at least I haven't found an events function on Instagram, nor TikTok or other social media platforms. And so that's why I've kind of focused on Facebook. And I have a day job, and there's only so many platforms I could learn and focus on. So that's why I've kind of focused on Facebook. I'm not saying if you have expertise in the other social media platforms to not use it. Definitely use whatever platform you have to your advantage. And this is in addition to flyers, emails, and word of mouth. This is just another tool to get the word out. And just some statistics here. Again, Facebook is the most used platform in the US. In 2023, there were roughly 247 million users in the US. And here's a breakdown of Facebook users in the US by their age groups. So this you can use this to target your audience later if you choose to. Some quick pros and cons. The pros, again, it's another way to promote your event. There's an event section on your page or in your group. And so it's kind of like a calendar, so people can go back and refer to it. If you put in your address, Facebook could suggest your event to other people in your area. When you mark yourself as going or interested in an event, Facebook will show your friends that you're going, and so they might become interested and say, hey, I'll join too. Another advantage is that Facebook will send you a reminder if you mark yourself as going. You can send this off to non-Facebook users. So just got to make sure that it's a public event. And one of my favorites is that you can save that event to your personal calendar and you don't have to type it again, and you just hit save. One additional pro is that you can boost your engagement. I'm not going into too much of that today. I haven't used it that much, but I have heard Justin Russell mention that a number of Square Dance groups in the Midwest have used Boost and Facebook ads and have had lots of success with that. So I'm not an expert on that, and it does cost money, so I haven't explored that too much yet. Going to the cons, you need to also promote via flyers, email, word of mouth. You can't just rely on Facebook alone. You have to know how to use Facebook, and you can't just post your event once and expect people to come to it. You're going to have to come up with a campaign of how often you want to promote your event, okay? But you don't want to spam people. You get those emails all the time, or you get those ads and you start ignoring it. So be strategic, have a plan. Don't post it like 5 times in a day. People are going to get sick and tired of that. So just be aware. All right. So the general process that I've come up with is that as an event coordinator, you're going to create the Facebook event, you're going to mark yourself as going, you're going to invite others, and you're going to share it to pages, groups, your personal profiles, ask your members to do the same. And then, like I said, you're going to come up with a campaign plan. You're going to schedule it and repeat. Step number 4, in addition to your flyers, and if you got videos and, events, post those so that it mixes up and people don't always see the same thing. Then you'll ask your club members to mark themselves as going or interested, invite others, and share it on their own profile. And the reason why I say this is because, when you're invited to a party, let's say, I don't know about you, but me personally, I want to know if I know somebody at that party, right? I don't want to be the only one there that is just going to hang out and be by myself. I want to know if a friend is there, and the more people that are liking the event, the more critical mass you have, and it just shows that it's going to be a fun time, right? All right. So I'm going to stop here and see if there's any questions before we go to the live demo. And Bonnie, if you could help with the chat.
Okay. You have one comment from Rick Hampton, who says boosting works. It's not a horrible cost.
Okay.
Any other questions that anybody wants to post at this time?
Nope. All right. So just a quick summary of what the live demo is going to go through. We're going to create a Facebook event. We're going to mark ourselves as going. We're going to invite others. We're going to share to other groups. I'm going to talk about, but I can't really show how you have to accept as a co-host. And then I can talk about adding the event to the personal calendar on your mobile device as well. And before I continue on, in the chat, I am uploading my PDF file, which outlines step by step how to create the event and share and mark yourself as going. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing this particular one and let me share my screen. And I've given this presentation a couple years before and I've made some updates. So for those of you who have seen this before, there is some new information in here as well. All right. Ooh, my screen is having trouble here. Get that out of the way. All right. So what you see on your screen is Darren's page. Again, I manage his Square Dance page. And this is what you see when you're logged in as that profile. So if your group has a page, make sure you're not logged in as yourself, but you're logged in as the page. So the page is called Darren Galena Square Dance Color. And this is what you're seeing. So to create an event, you go to the page, and you can also do this in a public group. Before we go further, if you want this to be publicly viewable, make sure it's either created on a page, which everybody can see, even those people off of Facebook, or on a public group, which again, everybody can see. If you make it on your own profile and mark it as private or in a private group, only those people can see it. So we're going to go to more and events, and I'm just going to click create event. So before I create the event, you can see here are all the upcoming events. Here's all the past events. So people can go to these and go, oh, hey, I'm going to go to this event. I'm available that date. So that's another reason why I like creating the events. All right. So I clicked on create event and the screen comes up. I'm going to create an event for a dance that Darren has coming up on August 3rd. And this is just filling out the information right now, right? If you don't see the time zone fields here, then the system assumes that it starts in the same time zone that your computer is currently in. So if you're creating an event for one time zone and you're in another one, just be careful and adjust for that if you don't see the time zone fields. So this is in person, and just put in the location. And let me know if it's going too fast. So I put in the location, and sometimes it doesn't show up correctly, and you can just hit just use the one that you typed in, or you can select the one that Facebook came up with. In the details, I like to include the event name, the date, the time, the location, any other information, contact information, website. I like to repeat that in the details, just so that it's all there, so that people don't miss it. I'm going to scroll down. In the category, there is a dance category. And co-host, here is where you can add other people as a co-host. This particular club does not have a Facebook page. So normally I would add the club as a Facebook page. If there's a queuer, I would potentially add them as well if I feel that they're computer savvy and won't edit my event. Anybody that you add as a co-host has the ability to edit, cancel your event. So make sure you trust that person. Okay. The benefit of adding a co-host is that it will show up on their page or in their group on their event section automatically. So they don't have to do anything. In this case, we don't have one, so I'm just going to leave it alone. If you have tickets online, you can post in the link to where they can buy the tickets online. If this is a repeating event, you can make it daily, weekly, or custom. Like, let's say you want to select certain dates. You can select these and it will add it as part of the repeat. This is not a repeating event, so I'm just going to leave it as never. And communication settings. I like to turn on posts must be approved by the host, and posts and comments detected as spam will be held for your review. There's lots of bots out there and scammers trying to scam people. So I want to make sure that anybody that posts a comment, I'm going to review it first before I allow it to be posted.
Thom, there was one comment.
Sure.
Be sure when you're posting a dance event, post the level of dance as part of your information.
Yep, that's
And
all.
then there was and then there was a question on how are people off Facebook seeing it? They're not going to, are they?
Not unless you send them the link directly. So there used to be a function in Facebook to send it to people off of Facebook, but I haven't seen it lately, so they must have removed it. So you'll have to send it to them. Like, let's say you have a mailing list, email list. You can send them a link to the Facebook group, or you can also export it and email that off to people as well. All right, so before I create this, are there any more questions? I can't, let's see.
I don't see any additional questions at this time.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and create this event. And the next step you'll see is that once it's created, it'll ask if you want to invite people. And normally it doesn't take this long, so I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. So here you are, I'm currently using Darren's profile, his Facebook page. And if people haven't liked your page, they won't show up in the list. Okay. So let's say I'm going to invite, let me see if these people have, no. So I'm going to switch to my profile. As you can see, it's right there. It's got my icon. Now I have the list of my friends there. I have created lists and like square answers. This is kind of advanced, so I don't expect too many people to have this. So you can filter your list that way. You can find people. Oh, they're not there. So let me see if I can find some other people here. As you notice, you have 500 invites. You can invite up to 500 people. I have 497 left, and I'm just going to go ahead and send an invite. The reason why Facebook doesn't allow you to invite more than 500 is because they think it becomes spammy, and they don't want that. Okay, any questions on that so far?
I have one.
Yes.
Say you invite those 500 people. Can you go out at a later time and invite 500 more different people if you have that many on your list?
Well, let's see. So we just invited 3, so we had 497 left. Well, now it says I have 500 invites left. So it looks like you can do 500 at a time.
Okay,
Right?
thank you.
Yep. So next step is to share this to your well, actually, sorry, I take that back. I'm on my profile now, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner. That's my account, not the page. I'm going to mark myself as going, and it's just as easy as clicking there and say going. And again, this is important because it shows up on the invite list, and your friends will see in their feed that you're going, and that might encourage them to join in on the dance or your event as well. Okay. All right. So now I've shown you the invite feature here. I'm going to show you how to share it. So you click that little arrow, and now you can post about it on your feed. Okay. So I'm going to share now. And then, so that will go to my feed. And let me go back to my, so here. It has shared the event and my post onto my feed. So then that's just sharing to your feed. Now you can also share it to groups. So I hit the share again from the event page. You can hit group, and I'm going to pick Galena Groupies. That's Darren's fan group. Right. So I'm the administrator of that page, so I can also schedule it to go out, but I'm just going to post it right now. And it will show up in that group just as another one. Let me show you. So here's that post. And the added benefit is that if you go to the group's events section, it pops up in the events section as well. Sometimes, though, when you post to a group, it doesn't show up in the events section, or you're not a member of the group, and so you can't share to that group directly. So what you can do is hit share from the event, copy the link, and then let's see, you can go to another group. So I'm going to go to Shoreline Squares, which is where they're dancing. If I could type, sorry. So here I've pasted in the link, and it pops up the preview for the event.
Thom, there is a question of, is there a way to post to multiple groups at once?
That's a great question. Let me come right back to that.
Okay.
So here in the event section, I just posted there, and let me refresh my screen. Let's see, sometimes you have to do that. All right. So if you don't see it in the group, refresh your screen and it will show up. If you don't see it, like this happened to me with the USDA Facebook group. I think it's because Bonnie has post approvals turned on. And so I just forwarded her the link and asked her to post it in the group, and then it showed up in the event section. All right, back to Paul's question. If you could post to multiple groups at once, let's see. It doesn't look like you can do that anymore. It used to be that you'd have a check mark and you could go through all the lists, but I think Facebook took that function away. So not at this time. Sorry. It would be easier, but it does get spammy. Here's where I suggest you not post to more than 5 locations in a day and kind of spread it out, because on your feed, your friends will see Thom Dang posted in this group. Thom Dang posted the same thing in this other group. And, you know, I don't know about you, but it gets kind of repetitive and you might start ignoring that person. So, all right. So let's see, what else were we going to show you? We were going to show you how to add to your calendar. So on the computer, you can add to the calendar or you can send it to an email. It's not as convenient. So what it does when you do on the computer is that it creates a calendar file that ends in ICS, and you can save it and then you import it into your calendar program like Outlook or Google Calendars or whatever. However, if you're on your mobile device, you can just go to the event. And I do have a screenshot of that. So let me see if I can pull that up for you. All right, here. Sorry. Here we go. So on the mobile device, if you go to the event, you'll see the 3 dots. Click that. Click add to calendar. And then it'll come up on yours, and click add. And then it just shows up in your calendar. Oh, I just realized I forgot one thing. They have a flyer for this event. So instead of this cover photo of Darren's Facebook page, I'm going to go back in as Darren. And here it says edit as Darren Galena Square Dance color. And I'm going to edit this and add in the flyer. So here in the cover photo, I'm going to go edit. I'm going to upload the file. And let's see, here's the file. It only takes JPEGs. It does not take PDFs. Excuse me. So make sure your flyer's in a JPEG format or PNG. It won't show the entire flyer. So if it's an 8.5 by 11, then you can drag it around until you see the section of the flyer that you want to be shown as the cover photo. Or you can also create a custom cover photo. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. And the dimensions for that are here. If you notice on the computer, you'll see the entire rectangle. On mobile devices, you'll probably see the square section, the dark blue section. So I try to keep all the relevant information within the center. Okay. And I have a template file that I just use to create the cover photo if I don't have a flyer for that. So let me go ahead and save this. And now you can see that the cover photo has changed. And people, if they click on it, they'll see the entire flyer. Right? So any questions at this point? No? Okay.
I'm not seeing any in the chat.
Thanks, Bonnie. All right, so let me go back to here. This is the handout I gave to you. Let's see, so we invited others, shared. Okay, accepting co-host. So like I said, if you want to add somebody as a co-host that you trust that won't modify your event or delete it, you can add them as a co-host, and then when they go to the event page, there will be a banner that says, do you want to accept it? Being a co-host, and just click on yes, and then it'll automatically show up in your event section. If you find an event that you want to add to your group and you're not a co-host, you can also do that by going to the event. I'm going to log in as myself. Click on, oops, sorry, wrong one. Click on the three dots, and then you can say add to your page. So this will add it to your page's event section, but you won't have the ability to edit or update it, and that's fine. Right, so you can add to the page, and then you can select the page that you manage. I think you have, let me try this a different way here. Let me switch to being Darren. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm in his profile, so I don't think I can add it to any other pages. Yeah. Yeah, I can add it to his page, but it's already there, so. Patrick, the PDF, I sent it in the chat, so check the chat, and it will also be posted on the USDA.org website. I believe Bonnie said it will be there in about a week or so. If you don't see it in the chat, Bonnie, would you mind uploading it to the chat again, please?
Yeah, I wasn't seeing it and I was just trying to do that. So give me a minute and I'll continue on and I'll work on getting it posted there.
Okay, actually, I have it handy, so let me upload it again. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it come up. Oh, there it is now. All right, so there's a question. So is it better to have a page for everything or a group? I currently am using a group for everything. Is there any advantage to one over the other?
The answer is I personally like to have both. And the reason why is a public page is more of a one-way, I'm going to communicate things out to people. And I can share it to a public group. So whatever I post on the page, I can also share it to the group. The group, to me, is where members engage with each other and might not necessarily be all things you want displayed on your club's page. You know, maybe the club members want to say, hey, let's do a potluck. What are you bringing? And you're going to have all these conversations in the group, right? That you don't necessarily want on your page. So They serve two different purposes, but it's good to have both if you want to. Otherwise, if you don't want to manage both, then I would definitely do the group just because it's easier to provide to have people create their own content to show that it's active and show that, hey, your group's a fun place to be where people want to go and have fun, learn how to dance, hang out with the people in the club. That's my theory anyways. So there, I'm kind of surprised, but normally when you create a group, an event from the page, it'll ask if you want to boost it. And I've read that you cannot do that from a group. When you, let's see here. Oh, there it is, boost event. Oh, Paul, you can boost from your group. Okay, great. So you need to have a payment method, and let's see here. You can select the audience here. So here, this is where it's important, where I showed you earlier, the breakdown of users, Facebook users in the US. So here you can target like which audience, how old you want to target, and then you can pick location. I don't know if you can, let me zoom in here. Don't know if you can pick like a county. So I'm just gonna see if I can drop a pin here. Okay, so it looks like you can pick a specific location and you can expand the number of miles here. I'm exploring this just like you would. So again, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just playing around with it right now live.
Thom,
So
Paul is Paul is posting that he took his location and then miles out from that pin is what his
yeah,
audience became.
yep. So that's what this slider is right here. This is how many miles out from the pin.
All right, there is another question. How
Yes.
do you prevent being inundated with public responses and with other people's unrelated advertising and general chit chat?
Is that on a group, in a group or on a page?
Angie Alexander, do you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and clarify your question for Thom?
Yeah, I joined a group so I could advertise square dancing. And I joined a group called Next Door, which you can go into different areas around your community. And what I found is I then set up an event on there. It didn't seem quite as easy as doing it on the main Facebook. But did get some square dancers from it, so it wasn't wasted time. But since then, I'm inundated on everything but square dancing. You know, does anybody know a plumber? Did you see down the pub last night there was such and such on? All that kind of stuff, and I'm just finding that quite stressful. I don't want to miss anything, and you can't always read the message fully until you've gone through and opened it, and so it's taking considerable time that I don't really have.
I'm not too familiar with Nextdoor, but if it's anything like Facebook, if let's say you're promoting a new class or an open house, there is and here's my strategy is like you want to join these groups that are local and most likely have people who are looking for things to do, right? So I'm going to go find groups and here, Pismo Beach locals, or oh, actually Pismo Beach events. That's even better.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be similar to this. If you join the group, you can turn the notifications off. I don't know about Nextdoor. I would hope that they have something similar, but you can tell the system to show less things from this group if you want. Let me see if I can find a group that I'm a member. Oh, actually, let me switch to me first.
Thom, I do know, this is Bonnie. I do know that I have Nextdoor and I've got it set up so that I just see like the first 10 words of whatever somebody's comment is, because it's very much, did you see what happened? Why are the cops here? Whatever it is. And
Yeah.
I can just delete out. So I would have to log into my Nextdoor to actually see the whole series of dialogue. But by having just that synopsis, I can tell right off the bat if it's something that I want to acknowledge or I want to ignore.
Yeah. So
Right.
here at Facebook, you just go to your group that you're getting too much info from, manage notifications, and you can say, oh, just show me your friends' post, or oh, just turn it all off. I don't want to see anything from them. So Blaine mentioned that Nextdoor does have a way to turn it off. So it's somewhere in the settings.
I shall look for that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
No, I'm grateful for the advice.
All right, so just to recap, create the event, mark yourself as going, invite others, share post, and do this often, but don't be spammy. And when you post in groups that aren't Square Dance related, I've had somebody tell me that they were kicked out of the group because they posted too many things about new Square Dance classes. Even though it's related to their area. So you might want to just time your posts less frequently and maybe contact the administrator of the group and say, hey, is it okay if I post this in there? Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
somebody is saying that there are also groups in Nextdoor, but it's generally for posts, not necessarily to post flyers, etc.
Right. So that's another social media platform I have yet to explore. Again, I work full time. I rarely have time to go into the other social media platforms. So that is another one to explore. For those of you who are interested in boosts and boosting versus Facebook ads, I did do a search for you, and here are a couple articles that I thought were helpful, and they are in the PDF file that I sent via chat, and that will also be available on the USDA.org. Is it .org, Bonnie?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So USDA.org, not the that's not the meat.
It's not the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, there we go. But here's the website. And is it under webinars?
It is. And on that front one, you can see on there, you can click for handouts and printed materials from previous webinars. The videos of previous webinars are there. And then that's all on the main front page where you can see the next webinar. So Dan will get this posted as soon as he can.
Okay. So is there anything else you want me to show about events that I haven't already?
Here's another question from Paul. If I turn off notifications from a group, will it change what I am able to see when posting? I wasn't originally posting events in other groups, but I think I see the benefit of posting events over just the info, and it's getting lost in the other group feeds. All
So
that makes sense.
So let's say you're posting to a local non-square dance related Facebook group and you turn off the notifications for it. I believe you'll stop getting posts from that group on your feed. I'm not quite sure if you'll also stop getting notifications about when people comment on your post in that group. I would think not, but I'm not 100% sure. Paul, does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, he says yes. All right. Are there any other questions for Thom at this time?
While we're waiting for questions, back to the boost page. Besides picking your audience, and looks like you can create new criterias, you can also specify how long it runs and put in a budget of how much you want to spend per day. And of course, they want your money, so you got to put in a payment method here. They'll take your credit card very happily, I assume. Yes, this is spend per day, it looks like. So what a boost does, from what I read, is that you typically want a boosting that has organically really gotten popular. And, one way to do that is not organic, but is to get your club members to mark themselves as going. Well, let's see. Paul says that he thought it was one-time charge, not daily. Let me. Well, let's take a look. What does it say? What happened?
I've had other people are saying that their experience has been it's a one-time charge.
Oh, okay, great. All right, well, hopefully it is a one-time charge.
Another question is, if you boost and spend money, will you get a receipt for tax reporting purposes?
I do not know. I assume that you'll get an email or something on your screen. Oh, Patrick says yes. So, Patrick, do you want to talk more about boosting since you've had some experience about it? And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Where is Patrick?
I'm just trying to unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
So I do know that I was able to file expenses for tax purposes and all the stuff on Facebook. I don't know very much about it because, quite frankly, Lee does all my social media. So, and she's not in the room with me. So, but yes, I know that you can get receipts because I was able to do that. So, from that perspective, it's good. And it does. It's effective in boosting. Like I had some results with it. I was doing a yoga class at the time, and it worked for that.
And what kind of response did you get for the money you spent?
I can't quantify it. I thought it was worth it, but I can't give you any numbers. It's a couple of years ago now that I did it, so I'm not really sure. I would suggest that if you can do it without spending money, if you can get some interest by just posting and joining groups and notifying people that way, you're better off doing it that way. If you're not getting any response, then maybe it's something to do with the way that you've formatted your page or something. And spending the money, I think, helps, and it's possible to target like to specific age groups or specific territories. And I was trying to do something pretty global. But I don't know. It's very difficult to quantify what the results were from my perspective.
Okay.
Any other questions for Thom or comments?
Have
All right.
let me ask the group, has anybody else used events, and what issues or what have you experienced with the events? I mean, has it helped your club promote your dances? You know, the way I do it is because Darren does dances like all over the place, and I don't have the same reach as, you know, I'm not in those areas locally, and that's why I help with the clubs, and I create the Facebook events for the dance for the clubs. But I always reach out to the club and try to get them and their members to mark themselves as going and share it out. It's been difficult because people don't typically know how to mark themselves as going and stuff, and I usually have to walk them through it. And so that's why I'm doing this presentation. I'm hoping to get this information out there so more people know how to do it, and it makes it easy for us to work as a team, both the caller and the club, to help spread the word about the dance, because we want your dance to be successful. We want to have more people and dancers come to it. And this is one way I can help out with it. But I was just curious if anybody has had any experience one way or other, maybe some tips that I don't know about.
I've been doing it a little bit differently. This is Paul. There's no real square dancing in Michigan that I've seen. I mean, a couple squares at a dance. So I'm trying to take an area that doesn't have any square dancing at all. And I started by posting a video that kind of got a lot of people interested. And I ended up making a Facebook group, and I called it Social Square Dancing. And the people that have joined that group are not necessarily dancers as I would know them as a caller, but they're new people that are kind of interested in what's going on. So I kind of did all this blindly and joined a bunch of groups, like you were saying, the local groups. And I wasn't doing events. I was posting the information, copying and pasting it and posting it in different groups, and wasn't even thinking that it's getting lost in the feed. It's seeing short term when I should be posting an event, which it gets tagged to the top of that page for other people to see. So I'm going to change my mission of how I'm doing things and try and do it that way. Maybe I'm missing a bunch of people that I shouldn't be missing.
I tend to agree with you. I tried it a couple times and I haven't been very successful, but you've pointed out so many additional steps that I was missing. So I'm definitely going to try it for the next webinar and see what kind of response we get. Michael Golden was also saying that they use Facebook events, but he's learned a lot today, that there's a lot of features that he hasn't used. And I think that's kind of a general consensus, is that we've learned a lot. So thank you very much. Any other comments or questions for Thom?
Has Mike got a question?
Yeah, I have not been using events, but what I have been doing is posting to the local countywide, events happening type pages, that sort of thing. And I get people that will click the like button or love whatever I posted. And I'm trying to figure out how I can interact with those people. I've been sending them personal messenger messages saying, well, if you're really interested in square dancing, I need your phone number, blah, blah, blah. Some people respond, some don't. But and I'm not sure if these people are just clicking the like button because they like clicking, or if they truly are interested in wanting to take lessons, for instance. I'm just trying to figure out how to interact and get those people to respond better.
Well, that is the tough question. I mean,
I think I'm going to try something different. I think I'm going to try using Google Form next, now that I've got a base of people, and put that and pin it to the top of this page and ask questions that I can keep the results of. Are you interested in square dancing? What kind of monthly, weekly lessons and kind of get a good poll going. I tried using the Facebook poll and I wasn't too happy with the results. So I think creating my own poll might give me that information. And Mike, I think if you put that information in that poll, like if you're interested in square dancing, please put in your contact information. It'll be an automated service more or less at that point if they'll use that poll, and you just keep pointing to it on occasion and say, hey, if you're interested in square dancing, check out the poll at the top or check out the poll on my page. And if you create something like that, and Google's got a free option for that, you'll have all that information in a spreadsheet automatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing somebody told me while I was putting this presentation together that I forgot to mention was that if you're posting photos or videos trying to show that it's a fun activity, make sure that people are smiling in the photos and looking like they're having a fun time, right? Because you don't want to have somebody with I have this problem where my face when I've got RBF. Look it up if you don't know what that means. So, so yeah, when I'm taking pictures, I have to tell myself to smile. So when you're taking pictures of people or video of people, make sure that it looks like they're having fun. And let me share my screen again. I have a video for you that's kind of novel that might get people who aren't square dancers going, wait, what's going on here? What's happening? This is square dancing? So let me share this screen again. All right, does everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Saw this yesterday. It was hilarious. Is this yours?
This is my video, yes.
I'd love to put it on my page too. I'm going to put my page in the links. I'd like your opinion on what you think I've got and what's missing.
So that's just a small clip, but it's set to public. Feel free to share that if you want. I will put it in the chat. Paul, I heard you say something while the video was playing, but I couldn't make out what you were saying.
I just I put a link to my page in the chat, and I'm just wondering if you'll take a look at it and see from your perspective, well, maybe what am I missing at your leisure if you've got time.
Okay, will do. Paul, why don't you friend me and then we can chat over Facebook.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Any other comments or questions for Thom?
I just like to say that I just went back to my page because it's been a couple of years since I've done it. And basically what I did, I had a class every week. And so that would be an event that I'd create on a weekly basis. And I'd create a marketing campaign that ran every day. So every day I'd post something on my Facebook page and link the event at the bottom of it. So every day there was something new coming up. It takes time and effort, and there's work involved in that creativity. So there's always a picture, and there's always a little quote about whatever was going on in my head at that particular point in time, but then a link to the event. So I found that to be successful. People would interact and engage with it. So it's kind of like if you post the event and just leave it there, it's going to get lost. So you have to keep coming back to it. And to Tom's point about spam, you don't want to do it every 20 minutes, but once a day, and people start looking for that too. So I don't know if that's helpful or not.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you have a team of people to help with publicity, it definitely lightens the load. And going back to repeating multiple posts, post the event, post the flyer from the event, post a video about your event, it mixes it up so that it doesn't repeat itself. And it goes back to Mike Hogan's presentation for the USDA that, it takes multiple exposures. You got this funnel, you have to bring awareness to your event. And then as the more exposure you have, the more repeating of your event, your flyers, whatever, people will start to notice. It's just like a TV commercial. It's like the first time you see the commercial, you're like, oh, whatever, right? But then, you know, after seeing it multiple times, you might go, oh, hey, that does look fun. Maybe I'll be interested in going, what's the website? Let me go to the website and sign up. So it does take a lot of work, like Patrick says. If you have a team, please work with your team to lighten the load and get your creative juices going too. So that would be my advice to you. Unfortunately, the team is just me for Darren. So yeah, hope that helps.
All right. Getting a lot of thank yous and wonderful comments, Thom. On behalf of the United Square Dancers of America, I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank all of the participants who joined us. We had quite a cross range of people from Canada and Germany, so plus all across the US. So it's been very wonderful. Please, everyone, do share this information with other people in your area. As I said, the recording and Thom's handouts will be on the USDA website, www.usda.org. Should be up by Wednesday at the latest. I think you did a wonderful job. I learned a lot. I'm sure everybody else did, and from the comments they did. Once again, our next webinar will be on August 14th. Kip Garvey, who is a nationally known caller, is going to be talking about you don't have to be a caller to teach SSD. In many of our areas, like the gentleman from Michigan, not a lot of clubs in the area. So maybe this is a way for someone to get a club started, or even the small group that can gradually grow. And then you can use your Facebook events to promote that. One last thing, and I know, Auntie, you just posted your email address. If any of you want to be on a direct email list to receive notifications of our next webinars, please post your name and your email address in the chat. We do have a group that we email out the direct information to after each seminar. Any last comments from you, Thom?
Good luck. It's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. And thank you for joining us today.
All right. Thank you all. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you next month on the 14th. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the recording now.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
All right.
Did it stop?
Not yet.
Oh,
I think you have to give me back hosting.
I'm going to stop it.